First of all, I want to thank everybody for joining us on our South Africa and Zimbabwe experience with Sandy Sale, and she's with Hills of Africa. She is one of my preferred partners, probably my only partner when I talk about doing Africa. So we work together, we collaborate with our clients, and to make sure that you get the experience that you're looking for when you're traveling to Africa. So Sandy, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to mute it so that you can take over and have as much time to talk and share Africa with our guests.
Okay, I'm so excited. This is going to be a lot of fun tonight, and I think we have everyone muted, but I just want to say that there is a webinar chat. I've been chatting on there because I was muted for a little while. They didn't want me talking for too long. Hey, Lisa. So there's a chat there. If you have any questions, please, type them up. I've got the webinar chat. I've got the participants list open. And this is a collaboration. We're here to have fun, and we're here to dream big. So let's get started. But just a little bit about me. I'm from Zimbabwe. And yes, everyone says I'm biased, but that's because I think Zimbabwe is the best place in the world and the best safari experience ever. So there you go. Biased or not, I still think it's the best. But I'm here to share with you tonight and share with you a couple of different ideas that I've worked with Lisa, and I've worked with Ursula, and I've worked with Alex on at Travelex International. I love working with these ladies. They have the most amazing clients who always like for us to dream on their behalf. But one of the biggest things about Travelex is that they really do customer service well. So I love customer service. I'm one of 4 children and the oldest of 4. So I like to be a helicopter mum, as some people call me. But that's a helicopter mum, which is good for all of our clients, right? We enjoy that. So we get to look after you, we get to plan the whole itinerary, and we get to experience it. So tonight's all about dreaming big and thinking about what you want to do in life and thinking about Africa as a whole. I mean, Africa is a big, big continent, as you all know, huge. I think it fits quite a few of the other continents into Africa. So it is big and there's a lot. So we're going to concentrate tonight on Southern Africa, and we're going to concentrate on Zimbabwe. So we've kind of come up with an itinerary because, I don't want to throw all sorts of ideas at you. I really want to come up with a specific itinerary, and then what we do with Alex and Lisa and Ursula is we love to find out all your desires and needs and interests so that we can really tailor the itinerary. So on this particular itinerary, I'm going to talk about various activities that we can do, but we're going to talk about Cape Town, the Cape Winelands, Victoria Falls, and then doing a safari in Kruger National Park. So I'm going to start with Cape Town, and I think a lot of you have heard of Cape Town. It is a vibrant, beautiful, gorgeous city. It has, Table Mountain here. You can see the table. And sometimes you can see photographs of Table Mountain with just clouds everywhere and you can't actually see the table. So we call that the cloth, right? A tablecloth over Table Mountain. It's our way of letting you know that Table Mountain and Cape Town has some changing weather. It changes from day to day, and it can be absolutely gorgeous like this on one day. We're actually going to be on this itinerary staying at Cape Grace Hotel, which is one of my favorite places in the world. And Cape Grace is a Virtuoso hotel. Travelex International is a Virtuoso travel company. So one of the benefits, or lots of benefits, of working with Travelex is that you get things like an upgrade, you get a personalized whiskey tasting. They actually have a whiskey bar down the bottom. You get, as I said, upgrade on arrival, subject to availability. but lots of extra special things like being able to go down to the wine bin and choosing your own personal wine from their bin so that you can enjoy at your leisure. So this hotel here that you can see in the background is actually Cape Grace, and it has views of the harbor, but it also has views of Table Mountain. We like booking the Table Mountain view because how amazing is that, being able to wake up in the morning or have your cup of coffee on your terrace looking at Table Mountain. I mean, just, I don't know, stunning. Can't think of anything better in the world. So this is Cape Grace Hotel, and for this itinerary we're going to spend 3 or 4 nights here in Cape Town. I'll just show you a few of the rooms. This is a terrace, and actually I should have taken a picture of it facing the mountain so that you could see Table Mountain, just what I was talking about. The Table Mountain's kind of over on the side here. So this is a beautiful little room, and you can get, this is the luxury room. You can get all sorts of upgrades on that. And of course, when you're working with Lisa and everyone at Travelex International, guess what? You get upgrades. So how exciting that you're working with them. The swimming pool, yes, it does have a swimming pool. And this is the wine bar down the bottom. It's actually called the Bascule Wine and Whiskey Bar. And behind here, they have a whole cellar full of whiskeys and wines. So one of the benefits of working with Travelex International is you get a bottle of wine on arrival, and you can go and choose your own bottle of wine. So that's one of the benefits of working with them. But this is a really cute, cozy little place to go and stay. So I love the beautiful Cape Grace Hotel. It's down in the waterfront area, and in order to get to some of the other restaurants, it's probably, you know, like a 5-minute Uber ride. I've walked it very many times, and it's probably a 20-minute walk. So a nice brisk walk gets you up for a delicious meal. But some of the activities we're going to do is the Cape Peninsula tour, and you can see along the right-hand side of this picture, this is actually Table Mountain from a different side. This is the Camps Bay side. There is this road going along the mountainside here. So it's a little bit similar to doing the Route 1 in California, you know, the Big Sur area. You've got beautiful mountain landscapes, lovely little villages. You've got fishing villages and harbors. So there's so much activity, but you go down the eastern, down the Atlantic side, which would be the western side of Table Mountain and Cape Town. You go down the western side, and then you go all the way down to Cape Point, which is the southern tip of Cape Town. It's actually not the southern tip of Africa. That's a little bit further along towards Gansbaai, and then you come up the Indian Ocean. So we'll be seeing penguins. Oh yes, here's our little penguins. This is at Boulders Beach. And, you know, there's ways of doing Peninsula Tour, and I just want to put this out there. If you're active and you like to do things out of the little bit of ordinary, you can actually do a Peninsula Tour where you hike a little bit of Table Mountain, then you go down to the Cape Point and hike around there. Then we bring you to Boulders Beach, and we do paddle boarding in this area. So the day is very private and a little bit more personalized to activities. So if you're an adventure seeker and you like different activities, then that's something that Lisa Ursula will discuss with you, and we absolutely want to tailor it because, you know, can you imagine having a picnic on the middle of Table Mountain looking out over the ocean? Maybe there are whales or sharks out there, but June through November is whale season, so maybe you can see whales. But you're in this piece of paradise with just you guys, just you and your friends or you and your partner having a beautiful picnic. So it's a little bit more personalized. But we always do private tours. So the Cape Peninsula tour that we're talking about right here is a little bit more of a driving experience. But yeah, how cool to see the penguins up close and personalized. And then you come up the Indian Ocean. So you go from one extreme, very, 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 very cold, to a little bit warmer, because you're down in the south, on the Indian Ocean side. And I just love, when we're doing some of the activities, is really experiencing the culture and the people. So on the city tour, there's this area called Boa Cup, and it's right in downtown Cape Town, and it's where the Cape Malay people live, and so brightly colored houses, lots of Malaysian-type food. The restaurants here are absolutely stunning, and, you're getting to meet the people. And if you are interested in food, there's a really good experience that we've done with some of the clients where we actually do a walking tour of Cape Town, and we get to taste our way through Cape Town. So you get to meet the people, you get to experience the culture, and you get to taste these so yummy, 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 delicious treats and food. So that's another really great way. One of the things we love to do is obviously the cable tour up to the top of Table Mountain. So you basically park your car down the bottom here, and then you get on a cable car up to the top. If you're adventurous, like I was saying before, you can actually hike this up. We only do hikes with guides, though, because the weather can come in from all sorts of different places. I don't know if you can see in the very distance here, it looks like a little piece of land mass. That's actually Robben Island, which is where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for several years. So that's another experience that we can do, where we get you on a ferry out to Robben Island to experience that. I'm all about the people. When people go to Africa, they talk about, oh gosh, I want to see the rhinos, and I want to see the elephants, and da-da-da. I want to see all the giraffes, and then they come back and they're like, oh my gosh, those beautiful, smiling, happy people is what stole my heart. So we love to get you to experience the culture as well as the food and the wine in Cape Town as well. So highly recommend getting involved with the community in Cape Town. So then we're off to the Cape Winelands, and I love Franschhoek and Stellenbosch, and it's only 45 minutes. So if you are stretched for time, some of us Americans only have like 8 to 10 days holiday, then we can do a day's wine trip out to the Winelands. But on this particular itinerary, we're staying at La Clay, which is in Franschhoek. And one of the things I love about La Clay is it's actually set on a wine estate. So you look out of your room and you're looking out over the winelands, and then you can, if you want something to eat, you walk out your back door and you're in the town of Franschhoek. So it's got the best of both worlds. And Franschhoek is one of the most amazing gourmet cities in the world. It has quite a few Michelin star restaurants and very, very good restaurants. I highly recommend them. So this has the best of both worlds. You're kind of like looking out over the vineyards, dreaming about the wine that you're going to be tasting, and then you have your butler who's looking after you, and then you can walk out for dinner at the end of the day. So this is Franschhoek, and we obviously will do a Winelands tour here. And one of the things about the Winelands is, some people are not necessarily wine drinkers. Maybe they don't drink alcohol at all, but there are various ways of doing the Winelands, and I think excluding it based on I don't drink wine is something that you should rethink, because there's so much beauty here in the Winelands, and we can do all sorts of different kinds of activities, like olive oil tastings. We've done chocolate making tours with kids for some of Ursula's clients, so that the adults can enjoy wine. They're very big on their gin right now, so there's lots of gin tastings. But the scenery is absolutely fabulous, and you're getting a private experience throughout with your own wine guide. We like to include a cellar tour as well as meeting the winemaker. So this is actually Delay Grass, which is a virtuoso property. And just imagine, can you imagine sitting there looking out, having your meal and looking out over these beautiful, beautiful mountains? So I highly recommend doing it. And again, if you don't like wine, we can organize chocolate tasting or we can organize different activities. But it is an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous part of the world. And then we go off to Victoria Falls. So Africa's got a little bit more civilized, I actually say. We've decided that we want to make it a little bit easier for our clients. So we have a direct flight, believe it or not, from Cape Town to Victoria Falls. And so it makes the whole area of going to Victoria Falls, going to safari, going to Cape Town much, much easier for everybody. So you've got a direct flight from Cape Town to Victoria Falls. In this picture, you can actually see the spray of the falls in the background. And we're going to be staying at Elephant Camp, which is a very small, intimate property, tented safari camp. And it looks over the gorges, but as you can see the spray or the mist from the Victoria Falls. And Victoria Falls is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. So, I mean, I fall in love every time I go there. I had one friend that I took to Africa on a trip about, 9 or 10 years ago. And she was going through some difficult times. And she said, wow, the water's going to keep coming over these falls. I've got to keep walking through my day. And I just thought it was fabulous. We go to Africa for lessons, and we come back with a whole different way of life. But this is the view from Elephant Camp. And it's in a national park. So Elephant Camp is actually home to some orphaned elephants, and you can go and visit them. We don't do elephant back safaris here. It's against our principles, and we're very into the conservation and looking after our environment. So Elephant Camp doesn't do elephant back safaris, but you can go and learn and be educated about the plight of the elephant. I think it's really important for us when we're visiting Africa to learn about these beautiful, beautiful species, all of them, lions, elephants, so that we can make sure that they are around for everybody when, like our kids and our grandkids, so that they can enjoy what we get to enjoy. So I love the Elephant Camp. And, obviously you can get close to them, but no riding them. And you get to learn from some of the people that we work very closely with. And one of the experiences that we've just started doing is an anti-poaching experience. As you guys probably know, there's so many different people out there in the world that are taking advantage, and poaching is becoming quite a bad thing. So we go out and we learn about these beautiful, amazing people who go out on anti-poaching units, and we pretend to be anti-poachers for the day. So I love it. I like to do things a little bit different. I like to get you involved and really experience Africa. So we'll go out and we'll learn about the animals that are being poached. We'll get involved. We'll find snares and we'll stop the snares, take them away, collect rubbish. Elephants can eat anything and everything, and it's quite sad when you find litter all over the place. So we try and collect all of that and really learn about the environment we're in. And of course, getting involved with the community, again, in Victoria Falls is going to a daycare center and being involved, maybe playing a game of soccer with them, or teaching them a little bit of how to read, or, coloring with them. I think it's really important for us to get involved with the community when we are in Africa. And they give you a great big smile at the end of the day. And of course, we can't go without seeing the Victoria Falls. I love Victoria Falls. I go every year at different times of the year, and every year it changes. There's something magical about Victoria Falls. David Livingstone said something along the lines of the angels must have been looking upon us with beautiful sights. I mean, I can't remember the exact saying. I'll have to find it. Maybe Lisa can find it for me, or Mia can find it for me. But a scene so lovely, angels must have been gazing upon us, is actually the quote that David Livingstone had. And it really is quite magical seeing the Victoria Falls. So, I don't know, I feel like it just gets in your soul. But there are all sorts of different activities in Victoria Falls. It's a great place for kids. My kids absolutely love Victoria Falls. We go on safari with them, and they love safari, but they would love to spend a lot more time in Victoria Falls. There are so many different activities for them. And so from Victoria Falls, there's a direct flight, yes, from the Livingstone side, which is the Zambian side of the falls, I like staying on the Zimbabwe side of the falls, just so you guys know why I chose Zimbabwe. I told you before, yes, I'm biased, but also they have the better view of the falls. So there's a direct flight from Livingstone to Kruger and Mpumalanga, and then Tintswalo. I know we've had some of Lisa and Ursula's clients stay here. It's actually a virtuoso property, and it is stunningly, gorgeous. One of the reasons why I love Tintswalo is it's in a reserve called the Manueleti Game Reserve, which borders Sabi Sands and is part of the Greater Kruger National Park. But Manueleti has very few properties on it, so you kind of feel like you're in the middle of Africa on your own personal experience. And I love to be in Africa, and I feel when you go to Africa, you shouldn't be sitting at a sighting with 20 other vehicles. It's just, why do that? I mean, why would you want to do that? You want to go to Africa and be at a sighting where it's just your vehicle and looking at these beautiful animals in the middle of nowhere, or waking up in the morning and sitting on your terrace and looking outside and hearing the birds, and close your eyes for a minute, like hearing the birds and feeling the warm rays coming up on you. You're in the middle of Africa, in the middle of nowhere. So I love Tintswalo in the Manueleti. Again, it's a virtuoso property, so very, very, very good. And this is just an example of one of their rooms. I think they have 8 rooms, and each of the rooms is so different. Looking from their deck, there's animals straight from the property. Sometimes clients are like, okay, I've got to go out, and I'm that person, FOMO, fear of missing out. That is me 100%. I don't want to not go on a game drive because I might miss something. But I have to say there are lots of clients of ours that stay back at the lodge and they see animals that are right there. Sometimes the animals actually come and drink from their swimming pool. So, you don't have to go out on every game drive. And I think staying 4 nights at a safari camp makes it ideal because, one morning you can lie in and maybe have a lie-in and then have a massage and then sit on your veranda. So I just kind of thought maybe I'd go through and tell you a little bit about some of the food because, people think, oh my gosh, how am I going to eat when I'm in Africa? I'm away from America and I'm not used to what goes on there. But the food is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, lots of fresh fruit and vegetables. They do a lot of meat, but we've had kosher, we've had vegan, we've had vegetarian, you name it. We like to know in advance so that we're not having to alert the camps, which are in the middle of nowhere, that suddenly you are vegan and it's like a day before. So they normally get their produce in and their food in about a week in advance. So we do like to know in advance. But Ursula and Lisa are extremely good at making sure that you are well prepared for your trip. So they'll be asking you all sorts of questions that we need answers to. But this is just kind of like giving you a little bit of what safari life is like. And the guides become your best friends. I mean, you laugh at them. You have, I can remember this actual guide being with us at a safari sighting where we found wild dogs and hyena, and there was a kudu kill. And he could not stop laughing. He was, laughing so much from his gut. That's when you know it's a good sighting, because these guys are out in the middle of the bush every single day. But they literally become your best friends. So I highly encourage you to ask lots of questions, find out about their life, because they really want to share with you. But that means you also get the bonus of getting to know them, but also getting their experience. They become more involved in your particular journey. So really do put yourself out there, get out of your comfort zone, and ask lots of questions. This is, I love this picture. It's one of my own photographs. It was a sighting of rhino, but you can see the giraffe in the background, and it was sunset. So there was actually an elephant coming into view. I tried to show a video on here, but I completely messed up. So it would have been fun, but the rhino were there, the giraffe's in there, and then an elephant comes into view. So you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I can't guarantee game is going to be there for you on call, but there is going to be a lot of game. And every day is an exciting new experience. Today you could be waking up going, and the guide comes and goes, oh my gosh, we've just found wild dog. And then you go on a wild goose chase to find the wild dog, and you find the wild dog. But each day is a different experience. And so open your heart, let everything beautiful come into your life. But there's so much there and so much beauty in Africa. Just a few pictures of these gorgeous foods. You're not going to go starving, I promise. You get about 5 or 6 meals a day. And it's funny, you always think, wow, at home I eat probably 3 meals a day. Sometimes I skip breakfast. I know that's really naughty. But I skip breakfast, and here you're eating 6 meals a day, but you're always looking forward to that next meal. There's so much gorgeous food around. This is a photograph of one of Lisa's clients that was actually not at Tintswalo, but I wanted to show it to you because this was their deck, and here are the elephants actually drinking from their little swimming pool that's on their deck. So this is how close you can get to them. And then, of course, sundowners. Who doesn't love an African gin and tonic? And that's what's, being out there, experiencing life, and really getting to be a part of every day. But in the mornings, your typical day in the morning is you get woken up in the morning with a little knock, 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 wakey, 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 wakey. And then tea and coffee is brought to you in your room. And then you go out on your game drive, and then you have mid-morning, about 8 o'clock, you stop because everyone's a little bit thirsty now. And you stop for coffee and tea. And then game drive finishes at about, 10 o'clock, depending on what you've seen. Maybe you've seen a leopard, so it finishes a little bit later. But then you come back for a big old breakfast. Lunch is about 1 o'clock. Then you have an afternoon siesta because we've gotten up so early. And then tea is like 3 o'clock. Go out on game drive, and then sunset cocktails. Can't get better than that. And, it's just every day is an experience. Every day is an adventure. And there's so many different things for you to look forward to. So, I'm just sharing a few pictures. I'd love, love, love to hear from some of you guys and hear what you think. And I'd love to answer questions. These are some personal photographs of mine that I'm sharing with you just to give you an idea of some of the different experiences you could find. I mean, this was actually at Tintswalo, this one, a leopard. This was taken about 10 years ago, so it is an old one. But we just happened to come across her lying in the tree, just enjoying her day. I'm pretty sure there was, if I remember, an impala around somewhere. But it gives you an experience, an idea of what you can experience, just going out on a game drive, just being present, and there's this beautiful giraffe in front of you. So I'm going to open it up for questions. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Maybe Kim. I think Kim is on the line. Maybe we could, open it up. There is a webinar chat if you guys have questions. I know we've got some people, some beautiful clients of Ursula and Lisa and Alexis inside the room. So maybe we can unmute everyone or ask questions.
Does anybody have any questions in here?
Do you need to be vaccinated in that area, for malaria?
Okay. Sandy, one of the clients that's here was asking about vaccinations for that area.
Okay, so for Southern Africa, which is South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Zambia, Mozambique, which is good for beaches, Namibia, I'm probably forgetting a few countries, there are no vaccinations required. If you've been to a yellow fever destination within 6 months, then you need your yellow fever booklet. But I do highly recommend, certainly for Victoria Falls and Kruger and some of the safari destinations you might be going to, like Botswana, that you have malaria tablets. So those are actually pretty easy to get. You can go to like a travel clinic or you can go to your doctor, and it's pretty easy. Malarone is one of the brands that I have personally taken. But yeah, no shots are required. For East Africa, if it's Kenya and Tanzania, again, if you've been to a yellow fever destination within the last 6 months, then you will need your yellow fever booklet. And then Uganda and Rwanda, yes, you do need yellow fever for Rwanda and Uganda. And generally, if you're going to Rwanda and Uganda, it's for gorillas. So I think that will be another webinar sometime. But that is one of the best experiences, Rwanda and Uganda.
Yeah.
What's the weather like? What time of the year is the safari goes, and what's the weather like then? Like you saw the wine fields, nice and sunshine and stuff like that.
Yeah. So Sandy, one of the clients is asking about the weather. Like when you were showing some of the photographs of like the Cape Winelands in that area, what time of year would, as far as, maybe you can go through the different seasons as far as traveling and when the best time to go?
Absolutely. I mean, I personally think one of the best times to go is May. It's one of my favorite months. It's kind of off-season insofar as the schools from the U.S. haven't gotten out yet. So when you're going there, it's a little less crowded on the airplanes and getting out there. The rains have stopped, and I'll discuss it all in general, but I'm just discussing May right now. So the animals are great, but the weather is beautiful in the rest, like Victoria Falls and Cape Town and the Winelands. As far as safari in Southern Africa is concerned, they say May through October are some of the best months. And that's because the rain has pretty much stopped. The rain generally falls from December up until kind of end of March, sometimes middle of April. You might get an odd shower in May, but hardly ever. And just so you know, the rains are big thunder and lightning and great big shows of beauty where you get these lightning strikes, and it's just stunningly gorgeous. But the rain probably lasts an hour, but much, much needed in Africa. So yes, you could travel during those times. Some people don't want to travel during those times because of the rain, but it really is not going to hinder you. But they consider the best times for game viewing, because there's no rain and because the animals are actually looking for water and it's a little bit cooler, they consider May through October as some of the best months for game viewing. I love going in the green season as well, so the green season, wet season, and I love going sometimes at that time of year because it's so beautiful. You know, you've got the butterflies and the if you're a bird lover, the migratory birds come in. It's a beautiful time of year for photography because the colors of the skies are so gorgeous. So really, I look to Lisa and Ursula as well to really find out about your desires and interests on what you love doing, what you would like to explore, what you would like to see happen, so that we can determine what is best for you. So, I don't know, does that help you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, do you see any questions in the box? Has anybody typed questions in the box, Sandy?
We have a couple of questions, you know, like on Victoria Falls. Victoria Falls, like most of Botswana and Zimbabwe, like the rivers. So the rainfall that you're getting in Zimbabwe and Botswana doesn't actually make the rivers any fuller or the Victoria Falls any fuller. Basically, it's the rain that's coming from north. So Victoria Falls gets its rain from Congo. So when the Congo starts getting lots of rain, that comes down the Zambezi River to the Victoria Falls, which makes the falls fuller. So the best times to see the falls are probably from about March until September, October. It gets a little bit dry towards October, November. Again, you don't want to be on the Zambian side at that time of year, October, November, because there really are no Victoria Falls on the Zambian side. Victoria Falls has gorgeous, the Zimbabwe side has gorgeous amounts of water. So, you know, just keeping that in mind when you're traveling. Again, I don't say that you shouldn't go to Victoria Falls in October. Actually, Travelex International just had Bernstein clients traveling in early October, and they absolutely loved the falls. So, you know, I don't say don't go, but if you're looking for the fullest time of the water, then that would be June, July, May, June, July for the falls. And then I had a little bit I had a question about weather in Cape Town. So as you know, Cape Town is in the most southern part of Africa, and it's very close to Antarctica. So, you know, it gets its weather. It changes daily, sometimes hourly. We always laugh, sometimes hourly. But it is gorgeous. The views are stunning, but you do need to pack appropriately. Like, take a fleece in your jacket, in your backpack if you go out and it's gorgeous, because maybe a little bit later it's going to get a little bit windy and you get a little bit cold, so you want to do that. But generally, if you are thinking that you want to do an experience in Africa where you want the best weather in Cape Town, then you would be thinking of probably going October through May. I know that conflicts with what I told you about safari, but remember I said that the green season is also beautiful. So it's warmer in Cape Town from about October through May. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't go in June either. Lisa, have you got any questions?
Anybody have questions in here?
No.
Nope.
No?
Nope. I think if they think of other questions, they can always email us here at the office, and we can make sure we get them answered. If we don't know the answer, we can reach out to you, Sandy, and get them answered and then respond accordingly.
I did actually have one question. I think Mia Voss is on the phone. Can you mute Mia Voss? She has a question. Do Do you know how to unmute her?
I don't, I'm not sure.
But I did have one question, which actually applies to you Chicago people, actually.
Yeah.
You know, how do I get to Africa? And I know, there you go, Mia's unmuted. Mia, let me just answer this question that came in. There was one question about how do I get from Chicago to Africa? And there is a flight that is right now, I believe, Lisa, that is with United Airlines, and it is direct from Chicago to Cape Town. So that is very exciting.
Wow, yeah.
How many hours?
How many hours? They want to know how many hours, Sandy.
Okay, take a big breath. It's like 15 hours.
15 hours.
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad. I do the direct flight from Atlanta to Johannesburg quite often. And actually, I find it easier than going via London because I feel like I'm getting there. And I'm so excited to start my journey. I'm getting there, and that's kind of what I'm excited about. So I don't want to be stopping in London or somewhere else and wasting time. I just want to get there. All right, Mia, I think you had a question.
Well, first of all, I'm so excited. We're going to be there in 2 weeks in Cape Town. So I can't wait, especially because it's about 15 degrees in Colorado right now. So I'm ready.
Yay!
It's kind of hard to pack for warm weather when you're that cold. But you actually may have answered it, but I was going to ask, you know, what's some of the most common misconceptions about traveling to Africa? And I think one of them may be, like you mentioned, about the food, about how amazing it is. So I'm really excited about that. But I wanted to see if you had any other, could answer any other common misconceptions you hear about traveling to Africa.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I think a lot of people think that Africa is dark, dangerous, and, you know, out of touch. And, you know, Lisa and Ursula and I, Alex, we're all very passionate about making sure that you are looked after throughout. So we have people meeting you everywhere. But it is the safest, the best place in the world. The people are so kind and loving and, you know, smiley, great big happy smiles. So I would say that is one of the biggest fears people have. But it really is very, very safe. And, you know, you can take an Uber in Cape Town to any restaurant. I walk around Cape Town getting to and from Victoria Falls. If you're staying at a hotel, it's very, very safe. Again, we have people meeting you off the airplane, holding your hand and helping you get through customs and immigration. So it's very easy because you're working with Lisa and Ursula, who make it very easy for you. So I have no hesitation. I think it's very safe. Lisa and Ursula have been working with me for over 10 years now. I've been in business for 18 years, and you know, I think it's one of the most safest, most beautiful places on the planet.
Thank you. I can't wait to see it.
Excellent. Thanks, Mia.
Yay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Not right now.
No.
Later.
They said not right now, but maybe later.
Get those questions coming, and then we can all answer them for you. That's exciting. Yeah. Keep dreaming. That's, you know, important. Keep dreaming big and thinking about how you can tick off all your bucket lists.
Perfect.
What about those slums that they have?
You just drive through them.
Yeah.
They don't hurt you.
No.
One of the clients was asking about the slums.
Yeah, I mean, in Cape Town, one of the pictures that I showed you was a Uthando picture, and that is a tour that we have done for many, many years. it was actually started by a guy called James Fernie, who used to work for an investment banking firm in London and then moved to Johannesburg. And he one day woke up and said, what am I doing with my life? And he started Uthando, which is a not-for-profit. It is definitely not a handout or a let's give money here type place. It is a belief that some people have skills, and let's try and teach those skills and educate those people so that they can use their talents and skills to actually invest in themselves and their community. So, for example, there were 3 ladies who were very, very good at growing vegetables. Well, James went in with tour operators like ourselves, taking clients in and helping these 3 ladies to really learn how to do a business, how to manage growing the vegetables, then selling them, and managing the income and managing their families, etc. And now they've got their business where they're actually selling vegetables to properties like Cape Grace. So it's a huge, beautiful experience going into the townships with someone like James and his staff, where you actually get to learn about the communities. And I love going. One of the places is called Masipumaleli in Cape Town. There's the flats area. I think it's important for us to go and experience those areas, but to do it in a way where we are educating ourselves, but also learning and helping the local population.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, any further questions that you see, Sandy?
No, I think we're good now. I mean, someone said, oh, good, bottle of wine on arrival. That's what they're looking forward to. Choosing their own bottle of wine on arrival. That's what we want.
Yeah. Well, we can definitely make that happen, can't we?
Exactly. And, when you are doing things like the Winelands, and that is something that you're interested in, it's really important for Ursula and Lisa to know, what your tastes are, what your desires are. Do you like red wine? Do you like white wine? If you like red wine, what kind of varieties do you like? So that we can really personalize it a little bit more, and then get you to meet owners, go on a private cellar tour, all of that kind of thing, if you are into wine. If you are not into wine and you prefer beer, then let's organize a beer. If you like olive oil, then let's organize an olive oil and cheese tasting. So there's lots of opportunities to make it different, but really trying to kind of personalize it is really what we love doing. We love to make it special for you, not a group be on a bus with 75 people type experience. We really want it to be your African experience.
How big are the groups that go there or something like that?
Well, and he's asking about groups, but basically the way she does it, it's not groups. It's all independent. So we're customizing it to fit your needs. We're not putting you on a bus with 40 other people.
Okay.
Because you're not going to get the same experience with a group tour as you would as a customized tour. Yeah.
So
you have anything to add to that, Sandy?
You could pick
No,
out
I would say, there are various group operators out there, which I know you guys use and are very good. But if you're wanting more of an experience that is tailored towards you, for example, you might love elephants, or you've dreamed of seeing elephants, and your partner has dreamed of seeing leopards. So how can we make sure you get the best of both worlds? I want you to go and see those beautiful elephants, but I also want to make sure your partner gets to see the leopards. So we need to find 2 different properties that I know there's going to be hundreds of elephants at, and I know that you're going to have up-close experiences with a leopard. So that's kind of the difference when you're doing it in a more personalized than doing on a group experience.
Does that answer it?
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Perfect.
answers that one.
You have another one?
No.
Okay.
Because when we were there, it was a small group. We were only in the 20 people, so it was more individual type.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sandy, I appreciate you spending this hour with us and walking us through Africa and helping us to dream a little bit about what's out there. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate everybody joining us.
Oh, Lisa, thank you so much for having me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Any opportunity I can get to chat about Africa, you know me, I'm all over it. So thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me dream on everyone's behalf.
Perfect. Thank you, Sandy, and have a
Thank you,
wonderful evening,
Sandy.
everybody.